Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Namaste. It's a rainy morning here in Mexico, but it's beautiful as always because we have this opportunity to join together and to express that single desire, that longing that we all feel for one thing. To focus everything that we feel, all of our desires, into a single point of light. And to know that that single point of light is who we are. It is who I am. And so we come together every morning to share these beautiful lessons, which I have been having so much fun writing. As you know, this started off with just simply wanting to take that book from 1914, The Impersonal Life, and to bring it into more of a modern language. And yet, within only a few days, it turned into something completely different. We left that behind weeks ago, really. Only the first few lessons really came directly from that. Now everything is very new, and I just, maybe I'll read a tiny bit or one line will jump out at me, and then the rest of the lesson just unfolds as if it's a very new conversation. And it's just simply important for us to know that that conversation, the conversation with that I am presence within each one of us, is always happening. The only question is, are we going to listen? Are we going to respond? And that's why we come together here every morning, so that we can hear and respond to grace and to support one another, to be mighty companions to each other, so that we can do that together and enjoy the fruits of this attention. So this morning, I'm going to go ahead and share a new lesson. And let me find it here. Okay, there we go. But before I dive into today's lesson, I want to start with just the first line from yesterday, because it's going to pick up right from that point in today's lesson. But first, why don't we just take a nice deep breath? Before we dive in, let's just take a deep breath and close our eyes and welcome this current. Welcome the energy that draws us beneath the surface of this world into the very depths of the experience of our oneness with all. Just feel that current drawing you deeper and deeper, and know that you are being pulled to that infinite ocean of grace where you have always been. All that's really happening is the current is drawing your attention to where you have always been, the heaven that you never left except in your imagination. So it's really all about attention. Where are you focused? For so long, we have all been focused on seeing what is not true, on obeying laws that are not real or do not exist. And yet now that we acknowledge this current that pulls our attention to where we have always been, where we have always known and been known, we know that what is being revealed in this moment through each one of us is only that which is true, only that which is whole and real. And so we desire and seek only that experience, only that knowledge. And we do that together because we know that when we join with our mighty companions, it's amplified, because I'm choosing to see it in each person, each one that is given to me. So this is our single intention, our single desire. And we say, Amen. Okay. So once again, I'm going to read just the first line from yesterday's lesson, and then we're going to dive right in. So yesterday we heard, this is the I am speaking, of course. I desire nothing simply because I am all things, and all things find their meaning and their being within me. Once again, this is that current we're talking about. See if you can feel the pull of this. I desire nothing simply because I am all things. How can you desire something if you're everything? How can you want something? Because to want something means you don't have it. So I desire nothing simply because I am all things, and all things find their meaning and their being within me, within that presence. Okay? So that was yesterday's. Now let us dive right into today's. It begins by saying, there is nothing I desire since I am forever complete. But there is great desire within you. There is great desire within you. You seem to desire many things, but in truth, there is only one thing you long for: to know and to experience your oneness with me, with this I am presence. That's the only thing you are truly longing for. This is the longing that drives you, and it's also the longing that completes you, since the desire you feel is for what you are now. It's really the desire for who you are now and forever will be. That's it. You desire you. It's like you with a small y desires you with the capital Y, who you really are. Because you know there's a reality within you that knows that you have chosen against you, the truth of you. You've chosen a shadow of you. Isn't that interesting? How a shadow of you may have the same basic outline of who you are, but it has no substance. But when we turn away from the shadow and we remember that which is casting the shadow, the truth of who I am, I realize great substance indeed. So that's all that's really happening, is you're turning away from a shadow that has some kind of defining force of who you are, back to who you are and who you've always been, who you cannot stop being. Okay. The longing, or this longing, was planted in you by me, and though you cannot escape its pull, you can misidentify it. You can't escape the longing, but you can misidentify it. You can think that it's something that it's not. In the state of sleep you find yourself in, it's easy to believe that this longing is for something you think you see, but, and here we are, something you think you see, but which cannot actually be seen at all. That's the longing that you desire in separation, in the perceptual world. It's something that you think you see, but cannot be seen at all. It cannot be seen because it's not really there. Interesting. Remember, it's impossible for you to see anything unless it is first seen by me. It's impossible for you to see anything unless it's first seen by the I am presence within you. In other words, that it can truly be seen or is truly real. I see only what is real and disregard what is not real. You, on the other hand, you in separation believe that you can see something that is not really there. Why? Because you're afraid of what is there. Now we're getting to the heart of it. For example, you sense an overwhelming desire for completion, and so you look outside yourself for another person to complete you. The problem is there is no one outside you, and then these next three words are capitalized, and you're already complete. You can't desire someone or something to complete you because you are already complete. And deep down, you know that. You feel that. You haven't truly forgotten. It's just receded from your conscious mind. And you've used your conscious mind like armor to block the truth of who you are and who you know yourself to be. So once again, you are already complete. This is the one thing that you're afraid to realize, your own completeness. And so you keep this armor on at all times to block anything that begins to claim your completion. And now that I am doing that in this moment, now that you're hearing these words and that you're able to receive them and accept them, it means that you've come to a beautiful place. It means that you have come to a place that you are now ready. You've laid down your sword. You've taken off your armor. You're no longer blocking this experience. You know yourself to be, and you long for that being. That's what's happening right now. Okay. If you're honest with yourself, you'll admit, oh, let me back up. You're looking for something or someone who can make the longing you feel vanish. A person or a thing that can make the longing that you feel vanish. But has this strategy ever really worked for you? If you're honest with yourself, you'll admit that it hasn't. The longing may seem to be satisfied for a moment or an hour or even a week, but it will inevitably return because you actually know what you're really looking for. Once again, deep down you know, though you're reluctant to consciously admit it, that you're looking for you, the I am presence within you that reveals all completion. There's nothing that you can truly desire because you are that now. This is the one thing that seems to separate you from the full realization of who I am. Remember who's speaking to you here. I long for nothing while you long for something, something you believe to be outside who you are. What I am telling you is that you are everything, just as I am. Begin by trusting that I can see something that you cannot see. And then slowly, your sight will clear and you will be able to recognize what has always been recognized by me. So we begin by admitting that there's something that we have refused to look at, and yet there is a wholeness within each one of us that is always looking at that is always recognizing that, and we can trust that. So we begin by trusting that what we're hearing, for example, right now, is true, that what you're hearing is reality. Just put a little bit of faith in that, or as it says in A Course in Miracles, be willing. And if you're willing to hear that, then your willingness alone will begin to dissolve that armor. It will begin to take away all of those things, all of those tools, all of those weapons that you've used to block the experience or the awareness of love's presence within you. And that's what's happening to you now. That's why you continue to come back here and join. That's why these sessions are speaking to you. Because you know that this is true and you're willing to lay down your sword. So laying down the sword is what we're here for, what we've always been here for, the only thing that we could ever do in truth. And yet we need to be practical. And of course, for the practical part of this, we always turn to our sister Victoria, who's I see sitting in her living room today.
Kitchen. I'm in the kitchen.
Kitchen, okay.
In the kitchen because the guys are cutting the hedges in the back and they're going to need me.
Oh,
Can you hear them cutting? I put on headphones. So good. Anyway, so we've been playing this hide and seek game for literally all of time. Hide from who we are, seek for it in something else. And these are all the ways we play it. And Ollie, Ollie, Enfrey, the game's over. Everybody come up. That's where we are. Mm-hmm. But very practically speaking, I want to tell you, I woke up shaking in my boots today. And I have no idea why, but I feel it's like dizzy. I have all the different parts of my world coming in at the same time, and some of them kind of are crashing and coming in. Although I have to say they haven't. They all kind of come in the right time. But so much action. And what you said earlier, the only thing we can do, so in my state of flap, 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 the only thing I can do to get back into a glide, which is much more fun than flapping, gliding on the current is a lot more fun. is where do I put my attention? So all morning, I've had my attention on the willingness to let it's like I'm shaky. Can you see my hands? I'm just shaky. And it's never for the reason outside of me, although there's an awful lot of activity outside of me today and every day. Lots of different things and people and things coming and going. But that could not be it. So to be practical, here I am, and I don't put my attention on the idea of where I am. I just let my attention observe where I am and keep my attention on the vision of who I know myself to be and all of us to be. And I'm very grateful to come to this Zoom today because I need the help today, being very practical. And I'm grateful that I have a family of brothers who stand in presence, in that presence, and hold that vision so that I can glide onto it, so I can stop flapping and entrain to what I truly am and let all the fluttering around me happen. Maybe it's the feeling of loss of control, whatever it might be, but I'm not going there with concepts. That would be a good thing to not do, because that would just be encumbering myself more. So where do I put my attention? On the word of in my heart, which is, so the word in my heart today is rest with me. So I'm going to move into rest with me as I join our family here and let myself feel shaken, because it's not so. And if I engage it, I add to the distraction. And if I just let it be and observe it and don't entangle with it, it has to fall away, because I'm holding my attention on what is true, the rest in my heart, the home of what real sight is, of what vision is, and allowing the rest to simply come and go. It's kind of like a kaleidoscope, just watching it come and go, loudly, some of it, very loudly, and lots of things. And so there's a practical demonstration of hide and seek, losing the focus. And you know what? That's okay too. That's what I keep saying. I'm still the living Christ no matter what. I'm still joy without opposite no matter what. Let all these appearances come and go. I'll enjoy watching them. I just won't jump into them. I won't think with them. I won't do anything with them. And I'll put all my attention on the heart and my heart, where the rest of spirit, and I can feel just as I say it, is holding me and welcoming me. So there you go, hide and seek currently.
Love it.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
Oh, thank you, Vicki. I love that you demonstrate the willingness just to keep coming back to the no matter what. That is the key.
Yeah.
Even when everything is shaking around me, literally the whole world is shaking. And certainly I know that when you're trying to sell a house and you need to do all this stuff to get the house ready, to show it, to make it look as good as it can. And one of the things I was asking myself in the midst of trying to sell, because my house is pending, by the way, so that's good.
Oh.
But in the midst of getting it ready, it was like, why didn't I do this years ago? It's beautiful. This is a beautiful house. But
Here too. Yeah.
but we don't do all those things. We only do them at the moment, when we're in a moment like that, and everything starts to shake around us. But you can just relax into the no matter what, I am whole, no matter what, I am loved, no matter what is happening, I am happy. I'm happy even when I'm not, in other words. Even when things shake around me, there is a foundation of joy within me. And we see and we feel that in you, Vicki. Even though you're shaking, we can feel the love emanating.
It's all moving. That's all I can say. Everything. People, places, and things.
Yes, well, you just keep holding that still, quiet place, and it's gonna
right here.
Settle all around you. Thank you, Vicki. Let's see if there's anyone else in the Zoom room that would like to share anything. I don't think Christina is here again today. Christina is off working with some people who are in hospice. right now. So she is doing some good work helping people transition. So we send her our love. But would there be anyone else here in the Zoom room that would like to share an inspiration? If so, just unmute yourself or raise your hand and I'll call on you. Good to see you, Meredith. I can see you sitting there in your ahihi home. I don't see anybody jumping forward. So let's go to Namaste. I'm going to go ahead and spotlight you guys so we can see you sitting there. Oh, hello. It's good to see you, Damian. Welcome. This is our friend Damian, who is going to be taking over for our dear beloved Franco. Franco and Christina are going to be going to another part of Mexico, and Damian's going to be there helping out. So sorry I can't welcome you physically. I'm just down the road, but it's good to see you there.
Thank you. Good to see you too.
Yes. Yes, Calico, you want to share something? Come on up. Oh,
Sorry about
perfect,
that.
perfect. Yeah, you can use Claire today.
Yes, they all work. Oh man, thank you so much, Vicki. You know, I like when people share, how do you do this? And that's where I get the most juice.
Mm-hmm.
And last week I was that shaky that you were talking about. And it was going to require something of me, which was to make a decision. And it threw me into total panic. And the reality for me is when I'm shaky, it's like a volcano. There's emotion right under the shaky. And I have to allow the emotion out. And that's what I call resting in God. I trust enough to let the emotion out so that I can come back to the peace of God, which is really all I ever want. So I just appreciate you so much, Vicki, for talking about waking up shaky. Yeah, I mean, there's been so much vulnerability coming up for me. And the only thing to do with vulnerability is trust God. So, and in order to do that, I have to have some kind of, for me, I'll only speak for me, there's an expression that needs to be released. There's fear that needs to be released in an audible, physical way. And, you know, and I thank God for mighty companions. And you know who you are. Because I've had so many people hold me in love when I'm in terror. And it's allowing that terror out to be vulnerable so that I can receive the power that I am. And without letting go of the vulnerability, I will always be in resistance of trusting God. So I popped on the weekend massively. And, you know, while living in Living Miracles, we used to call it they popped. Because at some point after you let this emotion out, there is an audible, you know, it's like the vacuum, you know, all of a sudden you're back in, oh, yes. And I had that this weekend and it's like, that is the miracle. What happens is completely irrelevant. You know, you may get sick and die. You may not get sick and die. That's not the miracle. However, God will use miracles if there's a need to help support trusting God. But at some point, you don't need the miracle in the physical world because it's all mind. And that's where I appear to be right now because it's like I'm the only one challenging myself. I am the only one that's, you know, beating myself up. And I know the truth of who I am and the truth of why I'm here, which is to accept the atonement for bloody fucking everything and stay in joy. So I so relate to you, Vicki, on so many levels. I mean, we met kind of ostentatiously at a revival meeting in Fresno, and I feel like you were just, you know, a sister from the same father, obviously. And I thank you so much for you expressing your process, because I can really experience it rather than that head learning. You know, that the book study that I was in for most of my life. You know, if I figure this out, man, I'll do okay. But I've got to figure it out first. And it's like letting that go is such a relief. So namaste to all of you. Thank you all for joining, and thank you, Jimmy, for just holding the venue and the space.
Oh,
So much more.
thank you, Calico. I just love this expression, because the vulnerability that you expressed and that Vicki expressed, that's where it's at. Being willing to be vulnerable in front of your brothers and sisters and to say, this is where I'm at right now. And then to ride that like a wave. Because if you're in an ocean and you try to resist a wave or you challenge a wave, guess what? It's going to knock you on your butt. If a big wave comes, it's going to just level you. But if you ride that wave and know that this wave has something to teach me, there's something I can learn here, then it takes you, and it's a great ride. So be vulnerable, be shaky, but let that practical, everything you heard from Vicki. This is why I turn to her every day, because she makes it practical. We don't want just this high teaching. We also want to say, well, how can we ride this? How can we integrate this when we're feeling shaky? If Vicki can feel shaky, we can all feel shaky. So thank you, Calico. That was beautiful. Would anyone else like to share there at Namaste? Yes, come on up, Lori. Come and sit in Claire.
My shakiness is a migraine, and this morning I woke up with one, because this is my last day here. I've been here 4.5 months, and I would recommend anyone in the Zoom room who has any inkling to come down here and visit, please do, because it's a transformative place. And James, you hold this space, and everyone here holds this space of one thing, which is God, and we are it. And yesterday I had this revelation that I'd been praying about for 1.5 years, and all of a sudden, bam, it comes. And it's not really what I necessarily wanted to hear, but it moves me more into the truth. And then when I touch truth, I get a headache because it's scary. You know, it's too much to go into, but this place has really held this space, and I just wanted to say that to everyone. Please come down here or stay with the Zoom sessions, because this is a beautiful place.
Oh, well, before you go, Lori, sit down one more second, because I'm not there at the moment, but we're still going to send you off with all of our love. We have loved having you there. You are such a teacher of God, and you have brought so much light to Namaste, and it just feels like you're part of the family there. And so we're going to send you back to Michigan with all of our love. So all of you in the Zoom room, if you want to unmute yourself just for a second, we're going to tone Lori's name and send her on her. Here we go.
Lori, I love you.
Tell you what, let's try it again. I'm going to mute you guys. It sounds like there's a robot out there somewhere. So you guys can just be muted on the Zoom, but we'll all tone here at Namaste. Once again, and as one person goes out the door, another one comes in, and that's Damien. So we should welcome him. This is our little custom, Damien, to just ask people just to receive, and we're just going to give you all our love. So let's welcome Damien. Beautiful. Thank you. Yes, thank you, Ravi. You're going to have to unmute you guys there. Anyone else there at Namaste want to share anything? Yes. Who is that? Oh, is that Sue? Oh my gosh, that's right. Someone else is going to be leading soon. Hello, Sue.
Hi. You can't get rid of me that quick. I'm here till Saturday. Yeah, I just felt to share that so many things have been coming up for me. And one thing has been around my perception of mighty companions betraying me. And so I was just curious about the review of the lesson for today, which is I choose the joy of God instead of pain. And I've also been experiencing pain in my body. So again, I was curious. So I actually went to the lesson that's being reviewed, and it's very long, but I just wanted to read one of the paragraphs, and without it being just words, because I'm grateful for things like the teachings of A Course in Miracles, but the thing that actually helped me this morning was seeing some funny GIFs on Facebook. There was someone it's called Come On and Rolling Your Eyes, and I know I do that a lot. I'm sure people have seen me do it quite a lot at them.
No.
So then I looked up another one, which was like, I searched Give Me a Break, and it was just really helpful just to laugh. And it helps me when I can laugh at my projections. I can laugh at I can just laugh, and it's really helpful. But also here's some nice spiritual words that seem helpful to me as well. And it seems really to speak to what Vicki was saying. So it says, it is your thoughts alone that cause you pain. Nothing external to your mind can hurt or injure you in any way. And it was just so absolute. I just love that. Nothing can hurt or injure me in any way. There is no cause beyond yourself that can reach down and bring oppression. No one but yourself affects you. There is nothing in the world that has the power to make you ill or sad or weak or frail. But it is you who have the power to dominate all things you see by merely recognizing what you are, which is what I heard Vicki say. As you perceive the harmlessness in them, they will accept your holy will as theirs. And what was seen as fearful now becomes a source of innocence and holiness. So I found the funny GIFs helping me to perceive things that I feel are threat as harmless, and I could just laugh at them. And then I also want to acknowledge that I'm not seeing everybody in my perception as a source of innocence and holiness, but I'm here, and I'm grateful to be with those who love and support me, and I'm grateful for the times when I feel I really love and support them. So I just felt to share that. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Sue. And just remember, all this required is a little willingness. You don't have to be able to do it all at once or be able to shake free all of these illusions and the armor. You just need to be willing. And that's what I see in you, Sue. That's what I see in all of us, is that willingness to take one step after another, to be practical. That's why we always emphasize the practical here. That's why we always have Vicki here, is because she can bring it back to the shakiness that we feel, and just to allow that to take us all the way home.